And life is not a fucking journey. It's only if you're a meathead, clubfoot retard. And for those of you, I'm not trying to, if some of you have issues with retardation, I'm not trying to, that's not what I'm talking about. It's a model. You find someone, as I said yesterday after, where he or she is where you want to be, and then you model them. You mimic them. You copy them. Andrew Carnegie came up with the QLA model and didn't call it QLA because he could have been Dutch, really. He was a mean, cheap person that didn't want to spend money, so he didn't allow equity in his transactions. He only used debt, as you would say, debt. So he would still own it all, and that's all I did. He was doing this 140 years ago, what I do. Why don't investment bankers, why does an ING bank teach you how to do this? Because there's no fees for them to collect. That's why. Now, everything has got derivatives. It's got this, it's got that, and everything is associated with a fee and another fee and a fee and a fee. That's why the world isn't being taught this, because there's no money in it. Now, the next part of the equation is why isn't anybody teaching it anyway, like me? Because nobody's done it. They've grown up in the new investment bank world. I didn't create $50 billion by accident.
Most of you need improvisation. You should go take free classes in acting at a junior college or a college, because you couldn't give away a sex in a lumber camp. Okay, you just get shitty sales skills. Second, join Rotary. And I tell everybody this, Rotary, and you want to be on one or two committees. You want to be on the finance committee and you want to be on the membership committee. Why? Because if anybody's worth the shit coming through the front door, you're going to see them. And you're going to also see how much money they're worth. Some guys look better than they really are. Rotary, okay? And Toastmasters, you want to not just sit, because there's two or three classifications of Toastmaster. You want the one that participates, where they say, you know, this is a gold bar, sell it to me. That part, not the one to just sit back there and review everything. Toastmasters, because your communication skills are shit. They're not shit for what you're doing now. But you don't get to be a billionaire if you can't talk. Remember, leadership is me getting you to do what I want you to do when I want you to do it. And now the good news is 98% of the high performance people on the planet are all introverts. You got a chance. Only 2% of us are extroverts. And only 10% of that 2% are alpha males, like me. If your communication skills get 5% as good as mine, it's an instant billionaire. 5% as good as mine, it's an instant billionaire. Just like 2000, 5%, you're an instant billionaire. Right now, there's nobody that has a 0.5% as good as my communication skills. I remember the first day I made $10,000. October the 5th, 1974. I remember the first day I made $100,000. 1976. I remember the first day I made $1 million. That's to me. Okay? I remember the first day I made $10 million. And I remember, like, when I took a shit this morning and brushed my teeth, the day I made 100 million pounds in one day, me. It's, without question, your goals are too low. And they're too low. Why? Mommy and daddy, who probably had no goals. You know? My parents only had one goal in life: to keep me alive until I reached the age of reason. That's it. There wasn't any. Because I was they used to call it problem child back in those days. But I was a terror, to say the least. Yes, I was rebelling against my dad's strict, yeah, it doesn't matter what I was rebelling. The fact is, I was a fucking, a son of a bitch to raise. And as evidenced by all the crazy, stupid things I did. Yeah, your goals, and as I told some of you, if it wasn't for what happened to me in the military, and when we talk about goals, I'll go through that in some detail. I didn't know what $1 million was until I was 21. I didn't know how many zeros was in $1 million. Not $1 million. I'd heard the term million, but it didn't make it, because certainly nobody in my neighborhood was ever a millionaire or anything close to it.
So you've got rich people, right? Most of you aren't hanging, not chilling with those people, are you? Nope. Why? You've got all kind of reasons why, don't you? I didn't go to school. That's what I got to say about all those reasons. I didn't either. But somehow I weaseled my way into people richer than that. In a good way. Because it was important to me to change my life. From being a barrio bad boy who almost killed his teacher when he was 12 years old. If success was important to you, you would have done something about it by now. But it's not too late. It's never too late. But success does leave clues. I said this yesterday. I asked you yesterday, would you want your kids to be like you? I didn't see anybody jumping up and saying yes. Would you want your kids to be like your best friends, the people you hang with? No. So why are you hanging with them? Bill Gates, Elon Musk don't chill. They don't go to the World Cup. They don't go to the Super Bowl. They don't even watch them on fucking TV. Why do you? Because most people are living quiet lives of desperation. I'm going to say it again real slow because the Dutch are a little slow. Like Michael said, got to talk slow to them, Dan. You are leading and living quiet lives of desperation. Because your parents lived quiet lives of desperation. And their parents. And maybe then the ones before that fought off the Nazis. We got to go back, 70 years? It's no different in America. So you're not alone. Actually, the biggest snowflakes I've talked to are in Poland, where they were great fighters, supposedly. I asked, what happened in 866 in Poland? These are bright kids, supposedly. Nobody raises their hand. Finally, a professor, embarrassed, who's sitting about where you are, and that's when they anointed or discovered or initiated the country, 866. Not one single student in the audience knew. You go to American universities, you ask them, who was George Washington? Nobody knows. Who was Abraham Lincoln? Nobody knows. George Washington, first president. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, just for you, just in case you don't know. But they know that Obama, and I don't think much of the President Obama, other than when he set the goal when he was 19 years old, a fucking crackhead dope addict, I'm going to be the first black president of the United States. That's a bodacious goal. And I take my hat off to him for that. But other than that, I don't think he's worth a shit. And he knows it. He's not losing any sleep over it. But success leaves clues. The fact that I have 50 mentees that I train just like God made them, that are super high performance people, going to Trump's inauguration, going to see the Pope, making tens of billions, says something about my style. You're thinking and asking yourselves, and some of you ask Michael, why is he so damn hard on everybody? Kids, because it fucking works. I could be soft and I'd turn on people like you. And then wouldn't I be proud? Leaving a legacy of a bunch of limp dick wusses. You've got an uncle who's an accountant. You got a brother-in-law who's a lawyer, and you're going to go to them. Wrong. You got a father that's a lawyer. No. You got some pendejo from Colombia who's an ex-drug dealer who's fucking, a loan shark. No. 50% of the people in this room will do that. I can tell you which 50. After only a half a day with you. And you're going to fail. And then you're going to go around on the internet and slag me off on blogs. QLA doesn't work because I have no huevos. Because I am a cunt. But we know who's the one that has no huevos, don't we? It's not me. It's not the system. They call it a rags to riches. Well, I was poor. Got in a lot of trouble. A few months ago when we were working, I signed a deal for a TV show a few weeks ago, and they were doing research, and we discovered that where I lived in 1972 on 27th and Lexington, when I first went to Wall Street, it's now been torn down. We used to call the building the Bed Bug. Probably some of you live in the Bed Bug now. And then 12 years later, I was living in the castle. 12 years. Yes, was a castle on my affirmations? Yes. Was a castle on my goals? Yes. Was a castle in my prayers? Yes. But I thought the castle was going to have a moat and have all kind of neat stuff. It doesn't have a moat, but it's a pretty neat place for those of you that have looked at it in Google. Because I continue to believe. I continue to believe. So I've gone from the barrio, that's where my house used to be, behind that chain link fence, and you can see between me and that brick wall isn't very much space. We had an 800 square foot house. I think that's 75 square meter house. Even some of you probably live in bigger houses than that. And of course, there I am with my lovely wife. On my 75th birthday, I needed a new Rolls Royce like I needed AIDS. So what did my wife give me for my 75th birthday? A Rolls just like the Queen has. So when we drive by, I go, just like she does. I haven't driven in 30 years.